Welcome to a new community conversation, this time with a neighbor from New Rochelle. Alexandra Ferguson, welcome to LMC.
Thank you so much for having me.
And your organization is making something that I've never heard of. Describe these headbands.
So we are manufacturing headbands to protect medical workers from pressure injuries that are coming from wearing the masks all day. And I've actually got one on here, so I'll demo for you. This is what they look like. They're really simple. They're cotton jersey with a piece of elastic at the back.
Yeah.
And it's got a double button there. And so these buttons are actually going to be stand-ins for your ears. Because as you can imagine, we've all been wearing these masks, right, by law. They hook around the backs of your ears. Now, when you wear them for a half hour, an hour trip to the grocery store, fine. But these medical workers are wearing them for 12 to 13 hours straight, and it's really tearing them up. So
And some of them are also wearing the plastic face shields as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. When we think about needing to get the PPEs, the first crisis was that the medical workers didn't have enough PPEs, and we needed to get them the PPEs in general. But it turns out that these PPEs are really painful in so many ways. There was a dermatologist who called us out this week as someone making the headbands. And she was describing all of the different injuries that the medical workers are experiencing from, she called it maskne. They're breaking out in acne underneath the mask. They're getting contact dermatitis, chafing, heat rashes, open sores. You've seen over their noses, they're bleeding, they're getting indentations on their cheeks from the mask. It's really, it's a huge thing that none of us would ever think of. I come from fashion industry. I come from the manufacturing world. This was not something that I've ever thought of, but it's huge. And, I think we can all appreciate when you're having, when your face hurts, that's a huge distraction. That's kind of like, it's like having a headache. You're having to concentrate, but it's hard to keep your attention span.
And also, you want to take it off. You want to relieve that pressure. So your headband takes the place of the ear. So you hook the masks onto the buttons.
So I've got, this is a DIY mask that a friend of mine, Lori Lynn, has made. She's also amazing. She's made 700 of these that she's donated to medical workers. So I'm going to use this as my mask. So the elastic is going to hook around the buttons. And we're actually suggesting that you can put it right over your ears. And so you see you've got those two buttons. I don't know if you can see on the camera.
Sure. Yes.
Elastic. Yeah, so obviously this is solving. I'm a little tangled. Well, you get the idea.
How many of these have you made so far?
Today we will be shipping out, once I do today's shipping, it'll be 585 units. I've got another 300 with my sewers right now, and I've got requests total, including what we shipped, for 1,700.
You've got some information for viewers on a GoFundMe page. Is that the best way that people can support what you're doing?
That's the best way. Absolutely. We're doing this dance of lining up requests from the medical workers, and then at the same time, we're trying to be in lockstep to line up the funding to pay for those requests. So right now, our requests exceed the fundraising that we've done by $2,000. So we're kind of in a hole. So and the more we're shipping, the more requests are streaming in. So it's been amazing. I mean, I think we've had 500 units requested in the last 2 days, and probably half of those are from people who received one batch and they flew out, and now they've come back and they're asking for more for the rest of their department.
But they're reusable, right? You can wash them and then reuse them the next day.
Yeah, and one of the things that really that drew me to the headbands, it was this niche product. It wasn't something that I'd ever heard of, but it was so simple and I could understand it in a minute. really easily. And also I thought that they would outlast, you know, there's currently a mask shortage, but you got to assume that at some point supply will meet the current demand, you know, after that initial crunch. These headbands will keep going, you know, whether they're using DIY face masks or they're using, you know, surgical masks, N95s, they can use these, you know, as long as the fabric holds up. So they can have them for many years potentially.
I did take a look at that GoFundMe page before we talked now, and most of the donations are small money.
Yeah.
We're not looking, well, I guess if somebody wanted to donate a few $1,000s, that would be wonderful. But if somebody has $10, that would help the cause.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've had donations as small as $10. We've had several $100s. We've had some donors come back and make multiple donations, which is amazing. So yeah, the outreach, there's been so, I mean, I've been so touched from doing this project now. I think we're 3 weeks in.
Yeah,
And
what kind of reaction are you getting? I guess a lot of thanks, but can you tell us any
yeah,
specific stories?
sure. I mean, when I first launched it, you know, I spoke with my sister-in-law's sisters, who are both nurse practitioners, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to help. I want to sew something. Cuomo put out this call to action to all the local manufacturing, and I didn't really know where to start. Should I make masks? Like, somebody just tell me what to do. And so for a week, I put myself on every single list of like, I'm here, I've got staff, I've got sewers, I know more sewer. You know, I've been doing this for a really long time in New York City. And so finally it turns out that like, there she was. You know? I went to school with all these girls. And so she said, well, you know, you can make masks and maybe put a pocket in it. We could add a filtration system. And she's like, and also these headbands. That's all I needed. So we made 60 of them. You know, I sewed the first 60. My mom sewed the button. I hate sewing buttons. Of course, I landed on a product that requires 1 million buttons. I delegated that part to my mom. She was very game. And we got those out to her hospital for her whole. She was doing in an ICU department in the Bronx with all COVID patients. So we got those out to her, and I realized. And then my brother came at me and said, you know, I've got another friend who's, you know, she's pregnant and she's working in a, you know, with all COVID patients, and she could use these. And I just realized that this was going to be more than, you know, the one department in the one hospital, and was, you know, my business, you can imagine, selling pillows where revenues down 90%. You know, I couldn't fund this by myself. But there was a lot of opportunity. I wanted to keep my sewers employed. There was demand. You know, this was a new product we could pivot to. So
I imagine with your creativity and your abilities, maybe you'll come up with some other products and projects that would help with the irritation that they're experiencing around the nose and the face. And
sure,
if you do, will you come back and tell us about it?
Yeah. Now, listen, I didn't invent these headbands, so I don't want to take any credit for that. This is an idea that's been out there for a long time. We're just kind of going big. We've iterated on it a little bit. We've doubled up the number of buttons on each side, but I didn't come up with it. Right now, we're up to our, you know, we're up in it with the headbands. So we're busy with just solving this one niche, but there's so much innovation out there. So I'm sure if it's not us, someone else will take up the charge for the other.
Well, I want to thank you for what you're doing and for who you're helping. I'm sure they will appreciate it. And thank you for taking the time to tell our viewers about it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.